What is going on? How are y'all doing today? I would just like to thank you all for stopping by, and I'm going to be talking about my most anticipated comics for February 23rd, 2022. How crazy is that? We're almost to the end of the second month of 2022, but I'll get to those right after this. My most anticipated comics for February 23rd, 2022. So for those of you who have been here and seen this segment a while, this part is going to be something that I do on every single one of these, and I'm sorry that you have to re-listen to me see it, but at least I update it every single time, so you will see new stuff. For those of you who are new, I normally use League of Comic Geeks to find out what books come out this week. With that being said, I usually record this stuff on either Thursday or Friday, so there's definitely a chance that sometimes when I provide the information about what I'm reading, it might not be true. And I mentioned in my last video that, you see books like this for Scout that might not actually come out, but I did speak with somebody from Scout, and they mentioned that if you go to the previews and you check up for the week that books come out, I had it out last week's week, you can actually go down here, search for Scout, and you will be able to find which of their books are coming out. So if you are interested in some of the Scout books and you don't see them on League of Comic Geeks, or you think they're wrong, if you double check here, you will be able to see it. So I did want to provide that one note because I have been changing it a little bit to just make sure that I can see some of these Scout books if there's something that I think I'm interested in. And we're to the part of the show that is 100% sponsored by Chaos and Comics. If you have not heard of Chris, he has a YouTube. I'll have it linked up here for you to check out. But he said that the favorite thing he has about comic YouTube is hearing spec recommendations. So I added this segment just for him. And for this week, this is a kind of a hard one. So there has been a lot of stuff from Marvel that I talked about if you've been watching some of my shorts. It seems like a lot of that stuff got pushed back to this week. I see a lot of stuff in here, and there's kind of two books that I've been wallowing between. One of them is Ghost Rider #1. This one appears to have a few first appearance, but if I'm going to go with it, I'm going to do an indie spec rec this time, and it's going to be super massive. And this is this is the one that's big coming out from Image. It is Kyle Higgins. If you've been following Radiant Black, this is him doing a crossover with, I think, Ryan Parrott and Matt Groom. And I think that this is something that, depending on how these shows go, it would be a good idea to pick up this book. I'm guessing the story is also going to be pretty good. Radiant Black for me has been either my favorite read of the week or one of my least favorite reads of the week. So I'm excited to dig into Supermassive, but I think that there might be a chance that there might be something going on. So I would recommend at least grabbing one copy of this to set aside if you need to. But as I always say, spec is not always guaranteed. So if this book seems like something that you would not like at all, then I highly recommend not grabbing it just for the sake of spec. All right, so it is February, and I've been getting these X-Gwen variants because I really like them, and I think my daughter definitely has some ties to Spider-Gwen. Is her favorite character, so I thought it would be a cool way to maybe gather these, and if she gets into collecting later, I can say, hey, look what I got you a while back. I think the one thing I will say is that last week we did have some issues with my comic shop getting some Marvel books, so I'm hoping that I was able to secure all of them last week, but if not, I might be asking others out in the community if you can help me find them, because I didn't get 4 of them yet, but we will know closer on Friday. So to start this thing off, the first one coming out is on Miles Morales, Spider-Man #35. We have the Magic cover. I normally really like Magic as a character, and I'm pretty sure this is Magic. The costume that she's wearing is a little bit different than what I'm used to Magic wearing, so I could be wrong, but that could have something to do with what's going on currently in X-Men right now. And the next one up is for Ghost Rider #1. This is the Emma Frost version. This one's pretty classic. It just has the red background in the back, but I really like the way that that one looks. Next up, we have Black Panther number 4. This is a Jean Grey cover. We definitely have some Phoenix stuff going on in the background, and another fantastic cover coming out. I literally looked at that and I thought that it might be Alex Ross, but it does not look like it is. Silver Surfer Rebirth number 2 has the Polaris cover, which is kind of good. I didn't think I was going to pick up the second issue of Silver Surfer Rebirth, but seeing as I have to get this variant, maybe I'll give it a read and see what it is all about. And the final one, we have Shang-Chi number 9, and we have her dressed up as Gambit. This one is pretty cool too. Honestly, this week I really like all of them. I would say my least favorite of them is probably Polaris or Magic. Even though I really like Magic, I don't love the way that the cover looks, but if I had to give it up, I'm going to still go with the Emma Frost from Ghost Rider number 1. That one is just kind of a classic one. It stands out to me the most. I think that the Phoenix one is also very good, but the Emma Frost one, there's just something about it that I think is good. So let me know which one of these you like the most. And yeah, you know, I've been having a lot of fun with this. If you enjoyed this kind of segment where I talk about some of the covers I'm excited for, let me know. And if there's anything coming up that you really like cover-wise, let me know too. And I think this is going to be the first installment of this segment where I actually have a wardrobe change. But one of the things I wanted to include on this one is just for a little bit of housekeeping. On this Sunday, which is going to be February 20th, I am going to be going live on Whatnot for my first sale. So if you haven't already, I'll have my link below. There is if you haven't signed up for Whatnot, there is a $10 code there if you click on that link, or you can just find me and add me. And if you can show up, that would be awesome. I'm going to have some like $18 mystery boxes with like 4 keys that you can possibly hit in those. And yeah, I'll have some decent stuff. I've been working on putting everything up there, so I would love to see you guys hang out with me. And yeah, join my first Whatnot. I'm hoping for, you know, at least to get started. I think I'm at like 35 last time I checked. And if I get up to 50 either during the stream or before the stream, I'm going to be giving away a slab. I will have some random giveaways for some variant covers and just some books that I like too. So make sure to check that out if you haven't already. But let's get into the comics. And first off, I'm going to do my honorable mention. So if you know me, there is a book that I love. The last time that I talked about this was it coming back, and that is Saga number 56. This is my honorable mention. I think that, you know, Saga's great. We don't need to talk about it, but it's here, and I just want to let you know in case you forgot, I love Saga. So I normally do kind of break this up into different segments. So the first book we're talking about is one that is actually coming to a conclusion, and this is Dark Horse Comics, Orphan and the Five Beasts. This is from James Stokey. I think it's Stokey. Somebody said it might be Stoko, so I'm sorry if I did not pronounce your last name right. But Orphan and the Five Beasts has been an awesome book. This is a 4-part series. It's kind of this kung fu epic that, you know, it's got a lot of gore. If you've seen the art that James Stoko does, he has a very distinct style that I really like. If you look at this cover, the cover actually shows what it looks like. So I think this is going to be an awesome finish to this book. This has been on a huge hiatus, which definitely kind of sucks, but hey, I'm pumped to see what's coming next with Orphan and the Five Beasts. And unfortunately, I had to skip some other books that I was planning to talk about because there are so many number ones this week that I'm pretty pumped to read. So I wanted to talk about those. And the first one up is Supermassive. If you don't know about Supermassive, this is going to be a giant superhero crossover event from Kyle Higgins, who you might know from the book Radiant Black, and Ryan Parrott, Matt Grom, and Francesco Manna. So this is going to just be a ton of different heroes in that new Image superhero universe. I think one is called Rogue Sun. I know that there is the Radiant Black. It looks like there's also maybe one called Inferno Girl Red. So I don't know if Rogue Sun or Inferno Girl Red have came out yet, but this is going to be maybe the big start that really brings them in. I have been kind of weird on Radiant Black. It goes from being one of my favorite issues to one of my least favorite issues of the month or the week that it gets released, just because it's kind of got that up and and down, but I am willing to take a roller coaster if I can get to the downhill. It's one of those books where I think it's got a lot of up potential, and I'm willing to take, the ebbs and flows that you get for it. So if you're kind of into a Power Rangers-y, superhero-y book, this is probably a good book to get. And I already mentioned it in the spec rec. So, hey, at worst point, you might be able to flip this later on. And I don't know what it is, but lately I have been on a kick with some Marvel #1s. So I've got to go with Ghost Rider #1. It's got an awesome Emma Frost variant cover that I talked about earlier, but this is Johnny Blaze. He's back. It's got a badass first cover. I mean, Ben Percy is a writer that I really like. I loved his run on Green Arrow, so being able to see Ghost Rider back, and worst case scenario, if I don't love this book, I think it'll make a great book that I can put somewhere, and maybe keep to sell later on. But I think this seems like a cool story. I mean, Johnny Blaze is always like the perfect 90s character. I remember loving him as a child. So I am excited to see what Ghost Rider has to offer in 2022. Next book up, we have another #1, and it is an Image comic book called Step by Bloody Step #1. This is from writer Simon Spurrier and artist Matthias Bergera. I think that's how you pronounce it. But this was a book that I saw the cover and I knew I had to add it to my pull list. Simon Spurrier is one of those writers that I don't always love his stuff, but when he's on, he is definitely on. And I really liked this synopsis when I first read it. An armored giant and a helpless child. Together they cross an astonishing world brimming with beasts, bandits, deadliest by far civilization. If you're stop walking, the earth itself is force them onward. Why? The child can't ask. She and her guardian have no language, no memory, nothing except each other. So that really intrigues me, because maybe there's not even going to be words in this. It says no language. Who knows? We'll see. But I think this could be a very fun ride, and it kind of maybe seems like it's got some Iron Giant-y, like post-apocalyptic-y world, where there's more grim than there is happiness. So let me know what your thoughts are on Step by Bloody Step. And in true diva fashion, I am on my third wardrobe change of the video, but that is okay, because I'm coming to bring you the final book of this week's pick, and I'm actually giving you a question to answer for me. So of the next two books, which one do you think sounds more intriguing? I can almost guarantee that my shop will not have one of them, but the first one is a Boom Studios book, and it is called Killer Affairs of State #1. Let me read you real quick the synopsis of this book. Caught and put to work as an on-call assassin for the French government, Killer has to adjust to working with a handler, a partner, and a living life as a citizen. As an underhanded target, a City Hall employee lead Killers and his partner Nicholas towards a sinister web of city-wide corruption. But while Nicholas assures Killer that it's all for the greater good, will Killer ever be able to get back to his nihilistic lifestyle, free from debt and government association? Boom. I really like crime stuff, and this kind of seems like something kind of cool in that realm. I haven't been really big on Boom books a lot lately, because it seems like they've been putting out a lot more that just don't generally apply to me, but I think this one for me, it sounds pretty cool. So let me know if that one's it. But we also have this one, and I can guarantee my shop probably won't have this because it's coming from Bad Kid Press. I have never heard of that before, but the colors on this cover are fantastic. And this is Frankenrocker and the Jailbait Punkers #1. Let's go. Look at this cover. And then here's the synopsis. Frankenstein's monster forms a punk rock band with female teen musicians, and they go to outer space to fight an army of reptilians. It's like Galaxy Quest mashed up with the Sex Pistols by way of Saturday morning cartoons. That sounds freaking awesome. And while I can't get that, I assure you, if you see this, this might be a cool book to pick up, because if you see the cover, and I'll maybe even toss the second issue cover in, because that one's also super sweet. This seems fun. This doesn't seem like anything crazy, but maybe a cool little palate cleanser comic for you. And it's coming from a small press that I've never really even heard of before. And those were my comic picks for this week and my most anticipated. You've seen some covers. You saw some spec recs. You even had the choice to pick a comic for me, even though I'll probably only be able to get one. But I want to know, is there something that I missed that you're very interested in this week? Let me know down below because, as always, I might check something out if it sounds cool and if it's just something that maybe missed my radar. I know I wanted to talk about some other books, but there are a lot more new books that we normally don't get that I really wanted to showcase in case you are looking for a new read. As always, if we get 15 comments on this video, I will throw in another book to the end of the month giveaway. It looks like the first and the third week we hit 15 comments, but that second week we still only have, I think, 14. So maybe I'll pop the link up here if you want to go to it and just dibbly dabbly a comment in there. If you hadn't already, get yourself in that. And at the end of the month, which will be next week's video, I will be giving away anywhere from at this time it's 7 to 8 comics. 6 to 8 comics. So, let me know what you're thinking. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. I'm Cole. Thank you for checking out my most anticipated comics. And I will see you around on probably Monday, unless you show up to my Whatnot auction on Sunday. All right. Peace. My most anticipated comics for February 23rd, 2022.